All right, Taylor. I wanted to talk just a little bit about some fond memories of the '90s. Most notably, the format that programming followed by TNT's MonsterVision, as well as USA's Up All Night, Mystery Science Theater 3000, some other programs like that. I really miss that format. I know Mystery Science Theater came back for Netflix, but it was a really cool format, and a lot of people nowadays are completely oblivious to that. But I started thinking about it the other day. I was watching some documentaries on television about VHS, and there was one called VHS Massacre, I believe. And they interviewed John Bloom, who went by the character of Joe Bob Briggs on television. His entire character was basically, he was this kind of redneck cowboy-like guy, and he would offer commentary on horror movies and sci-fi movies and other things of that nature. And it was really fascinating, the format, how it followed, because basically he introduced the show or the movie, and then it would go into about 10, 15 minutes of movie. Then would come out of the movie back to him. He would offer some anecdotes of some sort, then go to commercial break. They'd come back from commercial break to him. He'd offer some more anecdotes. Then he'd go back to the movie for another 10, 15 minutes. Come back out of the movie, back to him. He'd offer some more commentary. And then go to commercial break. Rinse, wash, repeat. Rinse, wash, repeat.
Whoa! Huh. Look at the hematomas on that gal Jacqueline. She never speaks, but she lets those Winnebagos do her talking for her, doesn't she? Okay, I bet you didn't realize this was going to be a musical, did ya? Is that the most depressing line dancing you have ever seen? What are they doing in the dark there? It looks like line dancing from hell. And then we got that weird choreographed scene with the guys in the sombreros sweeping up with the synchronized drinking. And of course, Pappy and Harriet's musical number. I'm guessing that I don't really need to remind you that these people are non-actors. That is the late Pappy Allen as Pappy and Harriet Allen as Harriet. And so far, I've found one guy with an actual film credit who's in this movie, John Huff, who plays the priest. John Huff starred in a silent movie when he was a kid in 1925, a Western called Xander the Great. So he's the Laurence Olivier of the cast. And so when he was, I guess when he was 10 years old, he starred in that movie. And then when he was 80 years old, he starred in this movie. But all of these people are residents of the real Pioneer Town, California. Ask me what Pioneer Town is. I have no idea. Okay, back to the flick. How much do you think this movie costs? Any guesses? About 150 bucks, right? Of course, it was made back in 1996, when 150 bucks bought a lot more than it does today. Today, it costs 152 bucks. So, and yes, we're going to watch the whole thing.
And basically, that's how it went. And same thing with USA's Up All Night, which was started by Gilbert Gottfried, and then it went off to some woman, I think her name was Rhonda or something like that. And also, those of you who are familiar with MST3K, they've done the same format as well. All these shows followed that format. It was a pretty cool format. It was interesting. And for those of us who had cable in the late 80s, 90s, whatever, we were familiar with it because pretty much all the cable channels had that program on Friday night, Saturday night, whatever, to where they would have the person, he would give wisecracks about some B movie. They cut to the movie, they come back, and the person give more wisecracks and that kind of thing. But there was something about the way that John Bloom did it with MonsterVision, I think had more of a charm than anybody else. And I just really miss that format, that type of programming, that type of show. I don't know if it'd work now. And because basically everybody watches Netflix now, everybody watches Hulu now. Back in those days, we didn't have those options, And not everybody had HBO, not everybody had Cinemax, not everybody had Showtime. A lot of the time, those channels were the only way that you could watch movies. They would, of course, be edited. They'd take out the obscenities, they would take out the nudity, they would take out the more gratuitous kills. So the movies were more sanitized. But it gave a lot of people who didn't have access to the expensive premium channels, it gave them also access to movies as well. But that's why I don't think it would work nowadays, because everybody just watches movies on Netflix. Everybody has come to be used to watching the movie as it was in the theater. But back in the 90s, it really wasn't that uncustomary to watch movies on network or cable television. I mean, I watched a crap ton of movies on network and cable television. That was a lot of the time the only way I'd ever seen a movie. Sometimes today I'll watch a Blu-ray or I'll watch a DVD or watch something on Netflix. I'm like, I didn't know these scenes even existed because I'd never seen them before. But yeah, I don't know. I just started getting really nostalgic for that particular format of programming. It's like the more we move forward, the more we lose things that were of particular interest. Back in the day. So it's kind of unfortunate. If anybody watched MonsterVision, had a favorite episode, or watched Up All Night, had a favorite episode or anything like that, share with that in the comments. I've been trying to locate some episodes of MonsterVision of higher notoriety, most notably Night of the Living Dead, Tom Savini, his version. The Friday the 13th marathon, I'd love to find that one in full, uncut. Because I know that you can find the commentaries on YouTube, but I'd like to find the full episode with the movie and everything so you can experience it just as you did in the 90s. There was a few others, I think Ghoulies and Ghoulies 2, he did those. I'm trying to think what else. I think he did Silent Night, Bloody Night, I think, maybe, I don't know. But the ones I remember the most were the Friday the 13th. He did Nightmare on Elm Street 3 or 5, I can't remember which one. And there was a few others I remember, but the one I remember the most was Friday the 13th. So I'd really like to get those episodes. But what can you do? But I didn't really have much else to say. I just thought it'd be kind of fun to reminisce a little bit and see if anybody else remembers anything about him as well, because it was a pretty cool format. But thanks for watching and peace out.